Hey guys, what's going on? Damian Forrester here, and my extreme pleasure. I'm very excited to sit down and talk with someone today that's been making a real difference in families and our community, and hopefully all through Montana. So, Tim Huck is the founding member and the executive director of the Spectrum Hope Fund. This is an organization that helps families access therapy, resources, community support for children with autism and on the spectrum. And what is Tim's story all about? I mean, it didn't just start with the organization. It started with as a father trying to help his child and realizing other families need the same support. So, Tim, I'm very happy to have you here. So, man, talk about yourself. Talk about your origin story. How did all this begin? What was the moment that you realized, there was something bigger that was needed and that's happening in families dealing with autism?
Yeah, well, for sure. Thank you very much, Damian. Like Damian said, I'm Tim Huck. I'm the founder of the Spectrum Hope Fund. Wow, origin story. I guess it all starts when my wife and I had our first child. We were just typical first-time parents, just in the struggle, in the thick of things. We just started noticing some signs, especially when our son turned probably about 2, that he was stemming a lot, and he spent a lot of time on his little trampoline, just jumping and jumping. He wasn't talking real well. He wasn't nonverbal by any means, but he just wasn't at the level we thought. And as first-time parents, you ask everyone else who has parents, and they're like, "Oh, well, he's a late developer," or, "My son didn't do this," or "My kid did this." Most parents, just take that and go, "Okay, I guess we'll just wait." Well, we had enough of the waiting, so we took him to our pediatrician. God bless her; she's amazing. Her name's Dr. Poling. She's at Billings Clinic. She's fantastic. If anyone's looking for a pediatrician who really does listen to her clients, like her people.
Right.
She suggested that we get an autism. I don't even know what it's called. Like just diagnosis. Like
Okay.
you meet with a specialist, and they can tell you if your child is autistic or not. Excuse me. So we did that. It was a long wait. Luckily, my wife is a stay-at-home, so she was able to squeak into a time slot that had been canceled. Otherwise, we were quoted like a 6 to 9 month wait list until there. So that's something I always tell parents too. Like the wait is astronomically long as you're going through this journey. So after we did that, we got that big fancy rubber stamp that says, "Hey, your child is autistic." Here you go. We asked that clinic what the next steps were, and they suggested what's called ABA therapy. It's applied behavior analysis. There's so much documentation on what that is. I never go into like the exact details of what the ABA entails, just because for me as a parent who went through it, there's so much. Full honesty, I still do not understand 100% of everything that they did for our child. I like to call it super intensive one-on-one teaching and learning with your child, especially in like social skills. Our child did do OT and speech at that same clinic, so it was super convenient. He could just go from ABA right to occupational therapy and to speech therapy. Coupled together, those things really do work well if your child does need it. Ours did. So ABA was just life-changing for him. He did that 40 hours a week for 3 years. It was astronomically expensive. Unfortunately, we did not have health insurance that covered that. So through the clinic, they supply some options for health insurance plans. Through the clinic, we were able to get our son his own health insurance plan. So his premium was $400 a month, and then we had about $5,500 out of pocket. So
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, if you do the math, it's almost 11 grand a year.
Yeah.
On top of whatever else you're paying for. That's a lot. I mean, it's an extra mortgage payment a month. We knew we could not afford that extra money every single month, so I just maxed out a credit card that I had, 10,000. We just kept putting everything on there. Fast forward 3 years, he graduates from the program, goes on to kindergarten. He's now in 2nd grade. He's doing fantastic.
Right.
Yeah, ABA totally changed his life. But if we're continuing on in how this kind of evolved into what it is, he had been out of ABA for almost 2 years at this point, I would say,
Okay.
uh, late 2024. And I literally just had this idea one day. How could we help? How could I help other families who had this amount of debt from this ABA therapy? I wasn't even sure if we were like the outliers, if we were the only ones who couldn't afford it. I had an inkling that that was not true. So I just scheduled a meeting with the clinic owner and said, hey, I'm just kind of curious about, like our situation. Is that pretty standard, or do a lot of people have health insurance through their works that, cover all of this? She quickly informed me that we were very much the average, in meaning that most families do have outstanding balances that they, are paying on, can't afford, they're making minimum payments towards, et cetera, et cetera. By then, we had paid off our debt through some help with just hard work and a lot of support from family. Like family members helping pay for that. I know, for example, for Christmas one year, my parents paid off a piece of our debt at the clinic and gave us the receipt as a gift. So that was really cool to see. Honestly, like you just, as an adult, I don't expect my parents to do anything. So they just willingly did that because they knew that we were struggling. So I
So
kind of formed this idea, like, wow, other families might not have that opportunity. They might not have the support system that we were blessed with,
right.
especially family wise. And so that's where the Spectrum Hope Fund kind of came in. I think I had the idea on a Thursday, and by Friday I had bought the domain and talked to my mentor, who's my aunt, and I was like, hey, do you have any idea what it takes to start a nonprofit or a foundation? She steered me in the way of a nonprofit simply because the startup costs of that were much cheaper, and it was
Right.
something that I could pretty much do myself. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
So go ahead. Do you have a question, Damien? You want me to continue?
Well, no, no, go continue because it's running into a number of questions I have. So this is great. Keep talking. I love it.
Yeah. So from there, it was simply Googling how do you start a nonprofit. I had no idea. I come from a blue collar job. Like, I mow lawns for a living and plow snow.
Okay.
This is totally out of my realm. I'm not a suit wearing type of person. 364 days out of the year, I just I just work
Right.
regular job. So a lot of Google searching. Figured out you have to file the 1023 with the IRS to get your 501c3. You can't do that until you have a board built, board members. So I had to speak with a bunch of people who I thought would add value to this organization and believe in me and our dream of what this could be before you even apply. So you have to get people to believe in your dream before you can take any more steps. So that part to me was kind of odd. You have to build a board. Just telling them that you're going to do this without having the IRS's approval yet, right? So
Right.
from then it was just writing down a list of all these people I knew in the community who were, well connected. I wanted people with good values. I definitely wanted people who are parents. Whether they were parents like us who had an autistic child or not, I still thought the parent model was a good thing to go for, because watching your kids struggle is something that's really hard to do.
Right. Right.
Autism is a disability that you technically cannot see. You have to meet these kids and really learn about them first. Like, from the outside, they may look quote unquote normal. So you really have to get people to believe that. I had a lot of meetings with people to sit on the board. All of them liked the idea. Time was a big thing. I think I probably had 35 meetings total and ended with 7 board members that we started with. Yeah, Damian being one of them. My wife and I had met Damian. We were looking to buy another home back in probably
God. Well, 7, 10 years
20,
ago.
2018, maybe. Our
Yeah.
son was really young at the time. I don't know if we even had our second child then.
No.
So we were in the process of looking for a house. Before we could find one and end up closing on something, that's when our son got diagnosed with autism. So we had to kind of put that on the back burner after wasting a bunch of Damien's time viewing houses and stuff like that. But we had just struck this friendship. So you were one of the first people I reached out to, and It's just, hey, here's this crazy idea I had. Like, we should totally do this. Like, I just showed them numbers. Like, hey, we're not the only ones. It
Yeah.
costs us a lot of money. There's got to be other ways. And then it just kind of morphed from there. We started holding board meetings, and we finally got our IRS approval at the end of 2024. Yeah.
A lot of
Wow.
work on your end. A lot
Yeah.
of work.
It was a ton of work. It still is a ton of work. It's just, honestly, it's just getting busier.
It
Like,
stacks up.
if you saw my work schedule just this week alone, it'd be like, I need 5 of me just to simply do
Sure.
the job, which I absolutely, absolutely love. This is the best
Yeah.
job that
So
I've
let
ever.
me, let me ask, so a person without a child that has autism looking, from the outside, what are some things that, an autism with parents that for myself, I probably wouldn't simply understand. And I know this is getting a little personal now, but I mean, there's a lot of people out there that I may or may not know that are not sharing stories like yours to
Yeah.
help me understand what you're going through and what your family's going through.
Yeah. So some things that people might not see from the outside, and this is, of course, me talking personally. I'm not generalizing the
Fair
entire
enough. Yeah.
autism community. Just grocery shopping, like
Mhm.
going to a store, uh, used to be really, really, really hard. It still is difficult. Our son has gotten pretty acclimated to busy environments, but it was near impossible. It's just too much sensory overload going on. It was just the worst time ever, just to go grocery shopping with the little guy. So that's really hard. Like, if you ever see a kid having a breakdown in a store, this has taught me to really take a step back and not judge the child or the parents. Like, wow, these people are just letting this kid roll on the floor and he's doing whatever he wants. He's being totally naughty. That's not always the case. Like, he might actually, be special needs. He or she might just be having a breakdown that they need to have. Like, these kids do not. My light just died. Great. These kids do not. They don't have the social skills that we have. They don't understand, certain settings, and so that part to us was really eye opening. I Every time I go into a store now, I often wonder if, there's other special needs kids that are going through the
Right.
same problems that we went through. So that's
From
food.
just a personal standpoint, I mean, I like to travel, and even on planes. I mean, I have my children. I have my children. They were young, and they were, them. Um, but it really, since being with your organization, really opened my eyes to be more understanding. Honestly,
Yeah,
you never know. Um,
yeah,
so I mean, I think in the beginning, I pretty much gave a good idea of what the mission of the Spectrum Hope Fund, and in your words, what would you simply explain to anyone that is coming, what's the mission of the Spectrum Hope Fund?
yeah. So our core pillar, what I like to call it now, is we really do fundraise to pay down other families' ABA balances at the clinics.
Okay.
We awarded 7 awards, year one, totaling just over $11,000 if you don't include like our holiday programs, which was super cool. Like, we got to give away $11,000,
Yeah,
and that consists of us paying the clinics directly on the family's behalf. We do not award families money. When they do receive an award, we just pay down their balance at the clinic.
right.
Up to what we can, so we can spread the wealth, so to speak.
Mhm.
It'd be nice if we could wipe out people's entire balances for those people who are really struggling, and someday we will get there. Um, but right now, we just really focus on helping as many people as possible.
Okay,
With, I mean, I don't even want to call them small amounts. Our average scholarship is $1,000.
right.
Uh,
That's a lot of money for a lot
it
of people. I
really
mean,
is. Yeah,
uh,
that's our core. I mean, something that is becoming just as big as that, though, arguably, is the events, like the events we host for
right.
special needs kids and neurotypical kids too. Like, we have a
I'm
lot
going to
of.
get into the events a little bit later. Don't talk about those yet because I want to hear because you've already done some amazing things already for the community, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. So, can you define one more time ABA therapy for us?
Yeah, applied behavior analysis.
Okay. All
Yep.
right.
It's a science proven approach to, I mean, like, the exact vernacular is so extremely long,
Oh, just
but
simple terms for a common person like myself that is
basically,
now really get to understand autism.
yeah, like, so the program is structured with like a BCBA, board certified behavior analysis,
Okay.
or I guess overseeing RBTs. Those are registered behavioral techs. Those people are with your child all the time. They're just putting them into social settings, really teaching them like everyday life. That's how I perceived it. On
Mhm.
a parent who went through it. It taught our child so much on how to be. I hate the term normal because he's not normal. Nobody's normal, in my opinion.
I'm not
But
normal.
just what society expects, right?
Yeah.
And it's not changing our child. It's not making him mask. Masking is just your child learning how to, hide all their unique abilities inside until like they get home and then they're wild.
Right.
Um, I am a huge advocate for ABA. As far as that goes, it really just is life changing, honestly.
Yeah.
There's so much data that points into it being such a phenomenal program. The downside is that it's expensive, and
Right.
it rightfully should be. Like, these people are doing great work. They should be billing exactly what they're billing. It's just expensive, and
Yeah.
that's just how it is.
So, and it truly is just looking at the numbers we've been looking at on the table when we're sitting at the board meetings. It's incredible. We really don't understand the impact that you're actually having and the lives that you're actually changing for
Yeah.
families to get closer together by just taking that financial burden off of them. And so,
Well, we do
I know
hope.
that you're making a, oh, one more time.
I said we do hope those families view it as that too.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be honest, we don't hear directly from most families that we award, and that's totally fine.
Mhm.
I just like to go to bed every night knowing that we are really doing good.
Dude, love
Um,
your heart.
These
That,
families are appreciative of this. It takes a lot of pride to apply for financial assistance. Like, let's be real, it just does.
right.
So kudos to all of them. I I say kudos to every family who's put their child into this program,
Right.
uh, knowing they probably couldn't afford it just because it was the best thing for their kiddo to do.
Yeah, and we'll get into it later, but I'm sure there's still a lot of people that have not heard about the Spectrum Hope Fund, and that's
Oh,
what we're trying to do, get that word out. But in other ways to get it out, I mean, in the last couple of months, and actually more than 6 months now, we've been having some programs. Let's talk about some of those past programs that we've had already, and then we'll get jump into some of the things that we're going to be looking at doing.
sure. So, like events we've held in
Yeah,
fundraising with
yeah,
that.
exactly.
Our most recent one, which was our most successful one numbers wise, was our event at Wise Wonders.
Yes,
Uh, that was great. So when you host an event, you never know who's going to come. Everybody replies to events on Facebook, like they mark themselves as going or they're interested. So you really have no. I mean, you can get like a broad data point, but you just have no idea who's going to show up. And we had 60 people show up to that event, and I spoke to every single person who went there. Some of them I knew, but the great thing was is there are a lot of people I did not know. They just saw us
yeah,
on Facebook. They
that's
saw
all.
this free event for them to bring their kids to.
Free, free. That's right.
Yeah, it was totally free. Thanks to our gracious sponsor, Damian Forrester. Really appreciative of that. But honestly, like, it was super cost
It
affordable.
was.
Like,
It was. It was. I would like to definitely do that again. Actually,
yeah,
probably two or three times a year, to tell you the
there
truth.
there will be some huge news being released soon, after I meet with Wise Wonders tomorrow, about the future of our organization's partnering. So I'm
Outstanding.
stoked on that. But yeah, we had 60 people show up, and a bunch of people I didn't know from the special needs community. Just like, hey, we've just seen you guys on Facebook, and we like what you're doing, so we decided to come check out your event.
Yes.
Every parent got to go to that event, knowing that if their kid had a breakdown, we weren't going to care. Like,
What a safe place.
we're all in the same boat. This is, yes,
Yeah.
thank you. This is an extremely safe space. We're totally good to go. If something happens, cool. Like, it's not like you're at a restaurant and your kid is having a meltdown and you have all the eyes watching you. Like, that's
Right.
that's the worst thing, honestly. Is just the judgment, and we're just a completely judgment free zone, because every single parent, whether your child has Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, anything else, we're all good. Like,
I'm glad you
we
mentioned that. It's not just autism, but yeah.
our events especially are for everybody.
Yeah.
Another one was the football camp that we did at the end of last summer.
I
Like,
missed that one, but I heard it was went so well.
that one was huge too. We had 20 some kids come out, And like I said, it ranged from kids with walkers, physical disabilities, autism, all sorts of stuff. They just got to come up to Rocky where we hosted our camp and play with college football players,
Great group of guys.
Yeah, it was so awesome. It was so incredibly cool, which is an event that we'll be doing again this year too. So yeah, it was just great. We had a massive 50-50 night out at Big Sky Speedway. That's the dirt track north of town.
Right.
We have a race car. We don't own the race car, but we get to sponsor a race car every year. Due to the gracious car owner Rod Lorenz, he has
Rod.
he has what's called a naked car.
Uh-huh.
So he sponsors, because he's just an individual guy. He doesn't need sponsors. He can afford his
Yeah.
cars. And so we struck a deal with him last year to have a car wrapped with our logos, and we've already signed on with him again this year. The wrap is already done. Rod and I will
Outstanding.
soon to get it. The wrap this year, I'm telling you, is like light years ahead of last year's too. The company in town who did that is Wrap WRX is Kenny Allen. Such a good dude. He donates the wrap every year
We
for
have
us.
an amazing community here in Billings. People come
We
together.
really do. Like, we've gotten so many partnerships solidified just within the last year and a half. At this point, if we want to do something, it's just pick up the phone and be like, "Hey, we're going to do this. Like, you guys on board?" And everybody has been.
And the great thing is we're just starting. We're still brand new to this, and we're still learning. But the community once again is getting back, and it's going to double. I know it's going to double.
Oh yeah, it's going to do something. I can tell you. As far as past, we held several, restaurant fundraisers. I'm already setting up the Texas Roadhouse fundraiser that we did last year.
Right.
We do our Get Air fundraiser again, which last year we had a freak snowstorm on the day of our Get Air.
I remember that one.
So attendance was really low. It was a really random snowstorm in April. It's kind of unfortunate, but we'll be doing that again. I have the mindset that I want to partner with anybody who wants to partner with us.
Yes.
Honestly, like, we have a couple things in the pipeline that I can't talk about yet that are literally massive for our special needs community, especially for the kids.
Outstanding.
These are not fundraising events. Like, I enjoy doing the fun play events, like Get Air. That one was a fundraising event, but like Wise Wonders, that wasn't a money making event for us. That was just something that we want to do for the kids.
Yeah.
Like, if we can just show these parents that this organization exists, you never know what will lead to a donor. Like that. Let's be real. That's our world now. You never know when a massive donor is going to walk through the door.
So can we talk about the big one that? Can we talk about that right now?
So coming up, we have our first annual Spectrum Scramble.
Yes.
It's June 14th out at Pryor Creek. Those people are fantastic. I have a board member connected to a couple individuals there. So we just started building this thing out. I've never hosted a golf tournament before. They're super good for charities, so I figured, why not? Like, I want to do literally everything. Lots of logistics go into that. We do have team registration is open, $600 for 4 persons. Men and women are obviously both invited. I hope to see everybody there. That being said, we also have a ton of sponsorship packages available, all the way from our ACE title sponsorship down to just individual whole sponsorship. So if you're a business owner or you're looking to get the name of your new business, your established business, you can just go to thespectrumhopefund.com/spectrum-scramble. It's kind of a longer domain. That's just how our website set it up. Or you can find this event is on our Facebook page too. So you just go to the Spectrum Hope Fund and then go to events. It links right to our website where you can view those sponsorship packages or the team registration. And something cool is our larger, I guess, our couple top tier sponsorships do come with free teams. So when you purchase that, you get your name all over the course, all over all of our marketing material, social media. Plus, you get teams for your employees to play or you and your buddies to play.
It'll be fun.
I'm hoping. I mean, this one should be our largest event, money-wise yet. Honestly, if we're talking about the brass tacks of money, unfortunately, the big part of us is asking folks for support.
So if you were to put a number on how many families that this can really impact, that not giving an amount monetary wise, but family wise, if this thing was to just knock it out the park, how many families do you think we can support?
The golf tournament specifically?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the golf tournament specifically, if we just, go haywire and sell almost everything possible, we could directly support 45 families just in Billings.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and that's a lot.
Yeah.
the two clinics we're partnered with, pediatric therapy clinic on Broadwater and advanced therapy clinic on 17th.
Mhm.
Each of those have like 20 to 25 kids doing ABA therapy all the
Wow.
all the time. So there's a lot of money being spent by parents, by insurances. So there's so much help out there.
Right.
Really a really rough estimate on how much money is floating around in the ether at just a few clinics in town. It is well over $150,000 in unpaid balance.
Good Lord. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I mean, it is what it is now. Insurance will come into effect for some of that, of course. Yeah, some of it may get written off too, but that just helps us really know, like, holy cow, we're onto something here.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just an idea, and it kind of turned into who'd have thought we'd give over $10,000 away in our first year. Most
That's
people wouldn't
huge.
have been fortunate enough to do that, but I think people, when they sit down and listen, they listen to like our family story and especially the stories of everybody else.
Mhm.
Um, they just really do see a need. You know, it's like the movie Robots. Did you ever watch the movie Robots,
Oh
Damien?
yeah. Oh yeah.
What's the mayor's name or the big honcho, the big round guy?
Oh my
Uh,
gosh. That's about 20
I
years
can't.
old.
His motto is "See a need, fill a need," and I just have always resonated with that. Like we just happen to find this need, so
Right.
it's really cool. But
So,
yeah, the golf tournament's going to be. I hope it's huge. I hope
oh,
hope
it
people.
will be here. There's no hope in this. It will be huge, my friend. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm excited about that one. And so we'll
yeah,
talk a little bit about how to get connected with that here towards the end, because I really want to make sure that's expressed because it's going to be coming up pretty quick and we need to fill up a lot of these memberships. All right. So let's talk a little bit about something a little bit more serious here. I mean, there, I don't personally feel there's a whole heck of a lot of awareness with autism in our community until you really stepped into play. Now, I'm sure there has been some, but I haven't heard as much, in my opinion, as
yeah.
what you're doing. All right. So I'm really extremely proud of you. So, for those that have children and may have an inkling of maybe there's something that's going on, what do you feel like might be some early signs to help parents to pay attention for?
Well, the most notable signs are the stemming, and that could be like jumping in place. Walking on tiptoes is very common in lots of kids.
Hmm.
I will say that one is not like the most absolute verifiable uh, telltale sign, but that one is a big deal. Stemming the
For the record, we are not, we're not therapists. We're not, we're not saying that we are, but
and
from a
telling
matter
you,
of experience, right?
yeah, I'm telling you, if your child does that, I'm speaking from
Yeah.
personal experience. What my kid did that made me and my wife sit back and say, "Whoa, maybe there's something here." Like a simple Google search will tell you all of this exact same stuff too.
Right.
Um, I am not a doctor. This is our disclaimer. Do not
Fair enough.
sue us.
Thank you.
But like the hand flailing is a big deal. The one for us was him jumping on his trampoline like for hours. I just took a video last week. He has broken his eighth trampoline in our living room. Like the
Jeez.
springs broke. It has a
Right.
400 pound weight limit. Apparently, according to the product description, but I don't think is meant to be used for hours a day.
Right. Right.
So another thing that our child really didn't do, but is kind of like a telltale sign, is like lining up and sorting up like toys, for example. That's a big one. Our child never did that, but that one is a big one in the autism space, you could call it. As far as like perfectly lining stuff up and counting them and like color sorting, like most kids do not do that with their toys. So it's just a thing. I don't know why that happens. Why I don't know. I don't know why my son does a lot of stuff. I still don't. He's almost 9 years old. We've been on this journey for almost 7 years, and I'm so inexperienced. It's not even funny. I'm not the master know-it-all of everything autism at all.
Yeah.
Like,
And I'm learning myself. I mean, I'm sure and if people wanted to find out more about, these telltale signs, probably, where would you advise them to go to?
quickly Googling some stereotypical signs, like I said, the hand flailing, ours was jumping, uh, tiptoeing, which that one's really subjective. lining up your toys, in
Right.
very odd ways that a kid normally wouldn't do so. I My philosophy has always been you just make an appointment with your pediatrician, express your concerns. I tell all of our families, be stern with your doctor. We do hear horror stories of these families talking to their doctors and not getting a referral to get the autism diagnosis. Why that is, I don't know. I haven't been able to speak to a lot of pediatricians to answer that question. We were blessed with a really good one. So that's the biggest thing is talk to your doctor. And as the parent, when it comes to this, you're the one witnessing this all the time at home. Just because they may not be doing these signs at the doctor's office for the doctor to see,
Mm.
you're seeing, whether you record it or write it all down in a notebook, like, hey, this my kid did these things 12 times today just after school. That would go a long way for your doctor to be able to read that or to view some videos. Whether you're comfortable or not filming your child doing this, if you really want to get answers, you're going to do whatever you need to do.
Right.
Because doctors hold the golden ticket, to getting that stamp. You can't enter your child in ABA therapy without an actual diagnosis. That's not just an elective that you can go into and pay for to do. They have to be diagnosed first.
Okay.
So I would start that process sooner than later. It's a lot easier. Children are much more moldable when they're very young, as opposed to even like 7, 8, 9 years old. The program is notoriously much more beneficial the younger that they start it.
Right.
So
Okay.
especially was in our experience.
Got it. So we're still young as an organization.
Yeah.
And I feel we've done a lot already. Thank you so much to you. I'm not gonna lie. There was a lot of weight put on your shoulders, not only to get it started, but to carry on what you're doing right now. Thank you to the board, by the way, not belittling that whatsoever, but I feel that still there's a lot more to do, right? So let's say, where do you see yourself, the Spectrum Hope Fund, 5 years from now?
Well, I mean, I just think of the progress that we've made in the year and a half. We're entering year two. Our second round of awards will be this June, probably. We're hoping to do uh, more the first round than we did all of last year. If things keep trending like they are, which I fully believe they are going to. So 5 years from now, I'd love to be in multiple states. Like
Nice.
I'm not even gonna lie. That opens up a lot of doors for funding. People really like to support initiatives that are in their community, right? So as of now, we could not ask someone from Wyoming to donate to us if we're not servicing a community in
Right.
Wyoming. So if we can keep growing like we are and move to different states,
Yeah.
I mean, I said there's roughly 40 some kids doing ABA therapy at two of the clinics in town, which isn't even all of the clinics in town, and that's just in Billings.
Mm.
Like there's plenty of other cities in Montana that have these clinics too. Right now the number is 1 in 36 children have autism.
Oh,
Um, that's a lot of kids. That's a lot of clinics. That's a lot of money. It really is a ton of money being spent on this therapy that these kids really do need. I'm a massive proponent of ABA, like I said. So we're gonna go to bat for the kids
cool.
doing ABA therapy. If even one set of parents is concerned about the cost of ABA therapy and they're on the fence, like, man, I don't know if we can afford this. I know our kid needs it, but we just really can't afford this. If they know an organization like ours exists, that might help them just say, we're going to take this leap. Hopefully we'll be eligible to apply for this funding. But we're going to take this leap because we know there is assistance out there.
Yeah,
Um, 5 year, I would love to be in multiple states. More than two,
love it.
honestly. Several clinics in each state. That just opens up the doors so much for us, and we can just continue to help families.
Right,
I don't
right.
know, like as far as like satellite offices, like branching out to other places. For me, that line looks difficult. I will say that because I will never find someone else who wants to do what I do.
Mm.
And that's not me patting myself on the back, but this
Yeah,
is an unpaid position. You can't ask. I probably won't ever find another person who wants to do exactly what I'm doing in a different city, the same amount of work.
right.
That's just how it is.
It's a lot of
Maybe
work.
if I could find someone like that, Damien, it would definitely have to be another parent of someone who has gone through this.
Absolutely. All right. So on that, let me ask fire three quick questions for you. All right, myth or reality, right? Um, Autism is rare.
Is rare?
Yeah, is
Oh, no,
it
absolutely
myth,
not.
fact, reality?
That's
Autism is
that's a
rare.
total myth. I mean, science, the data proves that it's 1 in 36,
Okay.
which is from 150 in the early 2000s. So
Wow.
now
Okay.
that's not saying we have some sort of pandemic or epidemic going on. Our technology is just getting so much better. Our screening systems are just getting so much better. I guarantee it has always been there,
Right.
but the massive uptick we're seeing is just because I personally believe it's getting screened for a lot more.
Right. Okay. Next question. Myth, reality. Children with autism can't thrive in society.
Oh, they absolutely can. They're like something that comes alongside autism a lot is like genius in like certain specific areas, right? For example, I follow a influencer who happens to enjoy golf, and he's phenomenally good at golf. He's autistic. He's a rocket scientist. Like his dream was to work for NASA, and
Wow.
he was inside their program. They cut the astronaut program, so he transferred over this. But yeah, he's a physicist. So like the guy is totally brilliant.
Wow.
They just they tend to glom onto like one thing and then really take that thing seriously. Like
Right.
our son has a friend who can recite all the names of the presidents. Like most kids cannot do that.
Right. Kids.
So they really are.
We're
Like,
adults, man. Come on.
some of the like, there's a lot of notorious founders of big, huge companies out there
Mhm.
who have revealed that they have autism. I haven't, like whether I've actually vetted that, I don't know.
Okay.
But they're really smart. I've met some extremely intelligent adults with autism.
Yeah. All right. Last one. Myth or reality? Therapy doesn't make a difference.
In our experience, therapy changed everything. I don't know that had we not entered him in ABA therapy before the age of 3, had we not entered him at all, if he could just get plopped into kindergarten and be totally fine.
Right.
Most I hear stories all the time of kids getting left behind in school because they didn't have the help that they needed. Like it's even as simple as something like speech therapy. Some kids can't say their L's or their R's or
Mhm.
W's. They just simply need some speech therapy to keep going. Like it's just like a tutor in a subject that you don't know. Like therapy changes lives. We can absolutely prove that. I can definitely attest to that.
Right.
Our son would still be our son. We would still love him just as much. But he was able to go right into public school and do just fine. You know,
Okay.
it really does make a difference.
So, Tim, if a parent was listening right now and they feel overwhelmed because they think their child may be on the spectrum, what would you want them to hear from you today?
Most importantly, you are definitely not alone. And I know it's going to feel that way. I've talked to a lot of parents. For some reason, we're like the magnet for people to call the day after they get an autism diagnosis. It's
Mhm.
like their
Wow.
brains are going, the poor moms, their brains are going crazy. And they just reach out to us because they can find us on Google easily in this area.
Right.
And yeah, I've got this diagnosis. Like, what do I do?
What's next?
So I'm like, dude, I promise you, you are not alone. I
Mhm.
immediately tell them to join the special needs Billings group on Facebook. That is not our group. It's a group that other people
Yep.
created. But there's so much support in that group. There's a couple thousand people in there.
That's
And everyone is a special needs parent, for the most part. So if you need support in there, we do have some private groups attached to the Spectrum Hope Fund, which aren't as active, I will say, as the bigger one that just comes with the territory of having a
mhm.
massive group. But yeah, you've already done the hard part. If somebody already has a diagnosis, like the hard part is, that hard part's over. And then you can get into the talks of how you enter ABA and how you go about that and your insurance, and everything else. There's like different levels.
Right.
You think you get the diagnosis, then if you're going to do ABA, fantastic. You get through that. Then you've got to enter school. It's three totally different things. But the biggest thing is you're not alone. Like that's what our events do a lot is people just
Bring
get
people
to
together.
they just really get to express like, hey, this was really cool. Like we got to meet a bunch of other parents, and nobody judged us while we were here. I heard that a lot at Wise Wonder specifically. They were just really, they were just really glad to be there,
Right.
and
Tim,
they could
we're
enjoy.
gonna have to do this again, man. We're
Yeah, for
seriously gonna have to do this again. And I'm sorry if I cut you off there, I know, but I think there's another hour, actually, I don't think 2 hours of time
no
to
problem.
talk about this. So
Problem.
I want to come back probably after June,
Cool.
after the event to see how things went, right? But also
And
talk to you
our first
more.
section of the year too.
One
We'll
more
have
time.
a after our first section of awards for 2026.
Yeah.
That'll be a perfect point so we can say, hey, we did
Excellent.
X amount of these.
Well, let's do this again, though. So please end off. How can people get a hold of you? Website, phone numbers, the next event coming up, and then we'll just go on our way.
Yeah, so how people get a hold of us, thespectrumhopefund.com. You can email me directly at tim@thespectrumhopefund.com. You can call me if you want. It's 406-530-5317. That will ring directly to me. I just like to hear from everybody. It's not even lots of our phone or email conversations. I'm not directly helping people. They're just talking to me,
Mhm.
or getting opinions. And I don't claim to be some know all parent. I'm definitely going through the struggle just as everyone else is. We have 3 kids. Their kids are tough, man. Like parents are going through it.
Yeah.
We can just all support each other, especially those of us with children with special needs. It just means a lot. And I really enjoy listening to other people's stories. We definitely don't have it bad. I will say that we don't. I never like to view our situation as detrimental. My son definitely does not. He's very well aware that he's autistic. He likes saying it. He knows he's different. He has found a really great little tiny friend group in second grade that they support him too. So I just like to support other parents. I like to speak to anybody.
All right, outstanding. So, Tim, thanks again for all of this. I mean, what you're doing for our community, what you're doing for other families, knowing that there's a space for people to come to and for you to just listen to them. And that's what people need. So, thank you very much. Give us your the website one more time.
Yeah, the website is thespectrumhopefund.com.
Awesome.
And I just want to end this by saying how much I appreciate Damian being on the board and being an actual active member, on the board. I'm really thankful to have a group of dudes
Yeah.
who supports me and my sometimes crazy ideas. They
I
pretty much
love
let
your
me
ideas. We just
much let me do my thing. During board meetings, I like to spew a ton of information at a million miles an hour, just because that's how I operate. But having people behind you who support you and will do stuff with you, because this takes a team. Like everyone can sit here and say Tim did this and Tim did that, but it really does take a lot of people doing a lot of things behind the scenes that you don't see.
yeah.
So, just
Well, I
I'm really
appreciate
appreciative
you.
of that.
Thanks, man. Well, we'll see you next time, and I'll see you at the next board meeting. Have a great weekend, man. We'll see you.
Yeah, thank you.